What's up, work it? All right, I see how it is. I come out, y'all get up, chit chat, walk away. Everybody need to take care of their things? Are you taking care of all your business here? Who else has their dress shirt tucked into their underwear right now? Anyone? Is it just me? That's a trick for you guys, okay? How are you? My name is Lauren Ober. I am the host of The Big Listen from WAMU and NPR. Thank you. Can we also keep it going for Nigeri, Taz, and Gina, please? They were great. So I have maybe 20 minutes, maybe less, to get you guys a little bit jazzed about making stuff. I know it's been a tough week already, and it's only Tuesday, and so I'm going to try to bring a little levity to our week, maybe, and also give you a little bit of inspiration. Let me tell you a brief bit about our show. We call The Big Listen a broadcast about podcasts, but I think that it is much more than that. We are showcasing the best conversations that are happening in the audio medium today. We're kind of like the New York Times book review, but for podcasts, mixed with a little TED Radio Hour and maybe a dash of Oprah. Oprah's book club. I just refer to myself as Oprah. I just want you guys to know that. I'm the very pale Oprah. So as part of my job, I listen to hundreds of podcasts, hours and hours and hours and hours of podcasts. I cannot tell you, all I do is listen. And so I think I have kind of a sense of what works. Also, I've never used a clicker before. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so we already covered that. So I'm not going to talk about the nuts and bolts of making work. You will hear so much of that from amazing women throughout the next couple of days. I want to talk about the intangibles of our craft, sort of how do you make creative work? How can you mine your own experience and knowledge and interests to make something that is really fantastic? So just a little bit about podcasts, some fun facts. We know that about a third of American adults listen to podcasts. Podcast listenership is up, as evidenced by this amazing festival and also many other podcast conferences. Also, just the volume that we see on iTunes. We know that the medium feels like it is exploding. So this is just the sort of frame where we are right now in the medium. Yeah, so take all the pictures that you want, because I'm going to advance the slide now, because I know how to do that. Boom. Oh yeah, we'll put that on too, because I just learned how to do GIFs. So there you go. So my feeling is that there is a lot of untapped potential in podcasting, but as a professional listener, I end up hearing a lot of the same things. And I hear a lot of hot takes on pop culture writ large. And I think that's amazing. If you have expertise in it, keep on going. But I think that we can dive a little deeper into things that that make us special and that we have a particular expertise in. So before we sort of get into that, I want to share a fun little tweet with you. This woman, Emily Bell, is a professor at Columbia University's Graduate School of Journalism. Those of you who are readers can see that there are only 4 podcast genres. We have men going on about things, whispery crime, millennials talking over each other, and should be 20 minutes shorter. This is obviously tongue-in-cheek, but I think that she has hit on something that is not totally off the mark. So if you will indulge me, here are some examples of this. Just have a listen.
I was like, listen, you motherfuckers. How dare you? First of all, how dare you? What is this, a presidential election? The Big Three is an upstart business. It's an upstart league. People are digging it.
Okay, I should have mentioned, if you guys could identify all 4 of these accurately, I will have a prize for you. But I don't know how I'll get that to you, but whatever, we'll just pretend like I have a prize. All right, so whispery crime.
Around 11 p.m., Tara told a friend at the party she was going home to watch the videotape from the pageant that day. She said her goodbyes and drove off. She was never seen again.
White woman gone missing. All right, next one. Millennials talking over each other. The payoff is at the end. Focus.
Oh, well, now we're back to sex.
By the way,
Aaron has a fantasy about him. Or you.
Well, he's my daddy issue. I
Right.
think a lot of people have Bill Clinton, and mine's Gordon Ramsay.
Wow, you're right. A lot of people do have Bill
And
Clinton.
weirdly, people who's like, it doesn't make, like they were teenagers when Bill Clinton was in office, and you're
Who's
like,
my daddy issue? Alan Alda.
Alan Alda is that man's daddy issue. He's real into MASH. All right, and last one should be 20 minutes shorter. This is obviously subjective.
We just kind of are just sitting around, jerking off to various degrees of porn, completely subdued by binge-watching garbage, entranced into a paralysis of eating and just taking in stimulus.
He's still going on. I have no idea what he was talking about. All right, so for those of you playing at home, that was I Am Rappaport, Up and Vanished, Throwing Shade, and WTF with Mark Barron. And also, no shade to any of them. This was just a little fun exercise. So if you would love the shows or you work on them, like, you know, Mia Maxima Culpa. So I think that there are shows out there that go beyond these four categories. And I think that a lot of the innovation out there is being done by women. Yes? Right? So we have 36 Questions, which was written by a woman. That is a podcast musical. We have another round. Those folks are here. You will see them tonight. They have really elevated the interview genre. A personal favorite of mine, Seltzer Deathmatch, which is literally all about seltzer. From Rachel Ward at Gimlet and Travis Larchuk at NPR. In the Dark, which is a multi-award-winning true crime show from our friends at American Public Media, Malin Barron and Samara Freemark. And Sleepover, which is, I think, a reality radio show, yes. Some CBC fans, hosted by Sookyun Lee and produced by some pretty amazing women who some of them are here. Yeah, maybe a couple of them? Okay. So here's a little taste of Sookyun. I think that she's amazing because she's a radio host, she's an artist, she's a media provocateur, and she took this concept of reality TV and turned it on its head. So basically, if you haven't heard the show, it's three strangers sleep in a hotel room together and hash out their problems. Which seems like, can you imagine like pitching that to somebody and being like, what do you think? That'd be a great idea. But somebody at CBC was like, awesome, do it, eh?
I make my way to the 18th floor of a brand new green glass tower with a panoramic view of Vancouver. One room with 4 single beds. On each bed is a foil-wrapped chocolate beside a towel folded into a giant bow. I feel like Goldilocks waiting for 3 bears, but I'm here to rendezvous with 3 strangers.
What I love about that clip is it makes it seem like Sookyun has like literally never been to a hotel before. She's like, there are towels. Can you believe it? But what gets me out of bed, I feel like in the morning, is shows like this that really feel innovative and new and take risks and are creative and that have that special spark. Because honestly, you know what's not getting me out of the bed? The news. The news these days is grim, and we have been living in a dark time for a while, and I feel like podcasts can be a delightful respite from all of that. However, we need to work on our innovation, or just like continue to innovate. So I can't read our Cheech sign here, so I'm gonna have to tilt my head. So yeah, what is innovation? I don't know. Is it coming up with a totally novel idea that no one has ever had before because you are a genius, possibly? Is it connecting the dots that other people have already made but failed to link together because they are dodos? Maybe. Is it I don't know because I haven't watched that TED Talk yet? Yes. Also, possibly it is borrowing from something dope and iterating, AKA the Roman Mars approach.
I say this all the time. Stealing plus lack of talent equals creativity. What I mean there is that in the effort to copy something, your skills or lack of skills or your different experience, it mutates the original so that very often you come up with something that's completely new and completely yours. Copying is totally underrated, and mindful iteration is how good things become great things.
I think he stole that from Ira Glass. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, Roman is a dude, yeah. But he also is the innovator behind 99% Invisible, Radiotopia, and Trump Con Law. Dude knows a thing or two about innovating. And I think that it's worth thinking about, what are some of the great things that are happening in other shows that I love? And where can I borrow and change a little bit? But innovation can be hard sometimes. So this gentleman here is one of my favorite people. His name is Haile Garima. He's a professor at Howard University in their film program there. Howard University is the only HBCU in the country that has a film program. He has produced a number of groundbreaking films, including one called Sankofa, which I really highly recommend you watching if you are interested at all in alternative narratives and storytelling. And he tells his students, you come from a place. You come from a particular background. You come with a history. How can you thread that into the work that you do and make it distinctly yours? And no, you don't want to be pigeonholed. And no, especially as women, I think we're told, like, tell your own story. And you're like, get, jammed into memoir, right? Whereas men can, like, always tell their own story, and it's called something else. I don't know what it's called. Fiction. But I think that using your own experience as a starting point is really important. And here's a little something he has to say about that.
I try to get my students think about. I say, think about where you came from. South Carolina, so rich, what are you bringing to the movie? Or you're just imitating television or Hollywood? Where do you come in? Where's your psyche in this story?
He also tells his students, he says, look, Hollywood might not be interested in your story unless, Hollywood might not be interested in your grandmother's story unless she's driving Miss Daisy. And I think that's really important, that you need to look beyond what is the popular media out there. And I find that very inspirational, to remind yourself to center your own experience in the work that you do. Also, I told you earlier, I'm new to the GIF game, and who doesn't need a little gratuitous Beyonce? I was thinking, like, what if Beyonce had a podcast, and what would it be called? And I had this fantasy that she would have a podcast called Bowling with the Knowleses, and it would just be all about, like, the Knowles family bowling. I don't know why, but I just want that to happen. So if anybody just wants to create that, let me know. But seriously, though, what are the things that you are able to make, that you are able to mine and create? And I know that a lot of you in here already have your own shows, and they're probably fantastic. But I think probably some of you, how many folks don't have a show but maybe want to? Yeah, okay, more than I thought. Okay, so maybe this is a little bit helpful. I think there are a lot of things missing in the podcast world, and I will tell you what those are. I'm pausing for you to laugh. Shows featuring the following voices. Get ready. The very old and the very young. People who are not middle class. Hello. Female-identified people. Yeah, there are a lot of women who do podcasts, but how many of them are in the top of the charts? Just think about that. Not enough. People who did not graduate from Oberlin or Middlebury, I'm sorry, I love you, but I'm sorry. You guys are great, I love you. That was a joke, I love you. Don't dox me. Audio fiction that is not about sci-fi or spooky things. This is my own thing, because I'm scared about a lot of things, so I just want it to be fiction that could actually happen in real life. History podcasts that are shorter, not boring, use more sound, and aren't about white European men. Oh, yes! We love us some non-white European men. Okay. Serialized narrative nonfiction featuring women's stories. There are none. There are 3 that I could count. There are these 2, First Day Back, second season, Making Oprah. You'll hear from Jen White later from WBEZ. And I think that maybe the second season of Startup. And that's it. So if you have a story that could be serialized, like Missing Richard Simmons or S-Town, and it has women at the center or a woman at the center, make it, please. I'm begging you. That is my plea. Do I have one more? Improvisation, verite, or reality radio type shows. Those are maybe not my particular interest, but I think that there's a lot of room there for play and experimentation. So, oh yeah, whatever else amazing you're gonna make. Because I know that within this audience, there are people who are going to make fantastic things that we're going to be talking about for a long time. And I can't wait for you guys to make it. So, to spur some ideas along, we figured at The Big Listen we would give you 50 free podcast ideas, okay? That we crowdsourced. And I'm just showing you these to prove that we did it. And you can get all of these. We put them all on a website, wamu.fm/freepod ideas. I'll put the list up. You can take them, steal them, iterate. I don't care. If you make something from it, let me know. If you think they're garbage, cool, whatever. It was just a little experiment. No big deal. A podcast about podcasts about podcasts. Just kidding, don't do that. So here's some of my favorites. I can barely even read that. Find obituaries from the same day around the world. Try to do stories on those people who died on the same exact day. Pat yourself on the back for crushing the needle in haystack challenge. I don't have to read all these. You can read them. In bed with some LARPers. I don't know. Put a microphone on a playground. I don't know if that's illegal, but if it's not, you should totally do it. Republicans and Democrats go fishing together. Why not? Personal ads, like the one at the back of Alt Weeklies, before the internet ruined dating, which is a true story. And how do you make friends as an adult? Please, somebody make that and then tell me, because I need more friends. And then, celebrity internet dogs and cats. What's up with them? Oh, there you go. Boom. Okay. You have to envision Rihanna singing right now with Carlos Santana playing in the background, but we couldn't play the clip because of copyright. Okay. So I had some help with those, our great staff at The Big Listen and at WAMU, Lulu Miller, Yoe Shaw, Abby Wendell, and Laura Sarcheski also for their creative contributions. They don't work on the show, but they wish they did. No, just kidding. And I'm going to leave you with a quote from award-winning crime fiction writer Laura Lippman. She is married to David Simon, who wrote The Wire and Treme. And I think about this quote all the time, and I shouldn't have advanced the slide because now you can read it and you don't even need to hear it, but whatever. But I think that it's a really important point, which is it is asking you to be distinctive and have a point of view and a high level of taste when you are making your thing.
My husband and I, he's a television writer, but he's also written books, and we have this sort of long-standing joke in our household that our aesthetic motto is taken from the sports broadcaster, radio talk show host, Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck. This is pretty good, isn't it? It's like,
I like that.
No.
Yeah.
And that's what he says to his callers. Have a take, don't suck. And, don't suck is, I think, pretty self-evident. But have a take. Have a reason you're telling this story.
I love that so much, and I use it all the time, and I even have said the guy's name wrong. It's not Jim Rome, it's Jim Rome, whatever. He's a sports guy, he's a podcast. Of course, you can find it online. But I think that the point is really valid, is you need to employ a point of view and a reason, know at your core why you're doing this, because podcasting, if you are making it into a business, is not fun. It just isn't. I mean, it is hard work, it is time-consuming, it is a labor of love, and so you have to feel it and know the reason why you're telling this. And if it isn't for you, that is super cool. You can be a listener, but if it is for you, then know in your guts why you're telling the story that you are, and then don't make it crappy. If you take nothing away from this week, don't make it crappy should be it. So thank you so much to all of you. Thank you to Work It. Thank you to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting for supporting women in podcasting. You can check us out. I'm at Ober and Out. You can check out our show at Hear Big Listen. I put a picture of myself up there in case you forgot what I look like right now. Thank you guys so much for being a fantastic audience. And stay tuned because you guys are going to learn how to talk with your voice with our pals Nancy Fargali and Chrissy Clark. Thank you.